So let's talk a little bit about, while we've got a little bit of time, I just want to give you guys something of a guide. I often get asked about what is a good probiotic. Let me just, hopefully you guys can see that whole slide. Okay, you should be able to see all of it there. Okay. So number one is that I'm going to give you a product recommendation, by the way, as well, to the probiotic that I really like, and it's available in lots of different countries online, and very reasonably priced. But if you're looking to sort of check off on your own, this is a good thing of the 4 things that you need to do to check if your probiotic fits the bill. So number one, it should contain more than 5 billion colony forming units, that's CFUs, but ideally it should have 10 billion or more. Okay, so it really needs to be worth its weight in strength. Number 2, it should be cased in controlled release capsules. And this, if there's anything that's important, it's the fact that it needs to be in a controlled release casing. The reason being is that most probiotics, if they're just in a vegetable capsule, they can't stand up to our really highly acidic stomach environment. So they just get busted apart, they kind of die off, and none of them ever make it to our small intestine and large intestine where we actually want them to be. So this is really important. If you're in the US and you are having isobiome, that's great. I checked to see about the slow release technology that they're using. This meets the bill. But for those of us who are in Australia and New Zealand and want an easy product to access, like I said, I'll post a link in the comments after this presentation. Number 3 is that it should contain several, so at least 10 different strains of bacteria. And there's a couple of anything that starts with lactobacillus, and bifidus. There are some spore-inducing bacteria that are really dominant, and they're often used in probiotics. But if you've got some gut challenges you can I'm not a fan of them. I'm doing a little bit of research at the moment, and they can kind of take over and kind of create a bit of a problem in themselves. So there's this is why I'm going to give you guys a recommendation just to make it super easy. And it also shouldn't contain any unnecessary ingredients. What I mean by that is no fillers. Often they'll have cornstarch in them to kind of fill out the capsule, and can contain gluten, as we said. So if you're trying to eliminate gluten, that's not a great thing. The only exception to this is if they contain things like FOS, so fructo-oligosaccharides, you don't have to repeat that, and GOS. They might have, so galacto-oligosaccharides, and that's basically, some of them will come with kind of the prebiotic food to help that bacteria kind of start its life. So how's that sounding, guys? We've got one more, need a new probiotic. Okay, cool, Beck, I'll post the link. Yep, and the greens are awesome. Yeah, mum hack. My kids don't eat veggies very much, so I put it, yes, it's really, really good. And actually, I find this one tastes really good. Like my 3.5-year-old, I'll be drinking it and she'll ask me for a sip, and a sip turns into half of it. And I'm like, go girl, that's a good thing. So Iris says, which is better, shelf-stable or refrigerated? Most of the technology now, Iris, is in shelf-stable form, and the one that I'm going to recommend is shelf-stable, so you can order it online. So most of them, yep, awesome. And how do you have your greens? By Wendy, I've been finding a scoop of greens with a scoop of Cleanse for Life is my favorite afternoon kind of pick me up.